Hello friends, yesterday we have started unit 1. We have completed unit 2nd and also some lessons in unit 3rd. We have kept unit 1st aside as we didn't know that which lessons would be removed. So I had kept unit 1 aside for some time, but we have started unit 1 yesterday, and from unit 1 I have started 1.2, the thief story. It's a very inspiring story. One thief entered one house and the name of that owner is Anil, who is very kind and polite, kindful and polite fellow. He admitted that stranger without any inquiry, without any doubt. He just asked him whether he could cook. When he agreed at that time, on the basis of just giving food, Anil allowed him in that house. But actually he was thief. He didn't know how to cook. On the first night, the food which he had made should be, I think that food had been given to stray dogs by that Anil. Then he must have realized what kind of food he had prepared. Actually, he was just thief. Ate Anil, as being very kindful and polite, he understood the thief and he allowed him to stay in his house. He also promised him that he would teach how to cook. He taught him how to write his names, and he was going to teach him how to write the whole sentences and add numbers. Actually, Anil had hardly trusted that thief, but thief just wanted to rob Anil's money. Anil was a writer by profession. He was writing for magazines and he was earning money through those magazines, but he was not earning regularly. Sometimes he was getting money, but he was very spend thief, means he was very careless about his money. As soon as he would get the check, get the money, he would spend all that money very carelessly on his friends. Thief had known all nature of that Anil in that 1 month, but I think that besides taking 1 rupee daily from shopping, thief had not done any real work. But one day, what happened? Anil had brought a bundle of notes by selling one book to the publishers. At that time, thief decided to take that golden chance and rob that money. He planned on that night when to rob and when to catch that Lucknow Express. He planned everything, and on that night he robbed Anil's money from the mattress. Really, he had broken the trusting of Anil. Anil had blindly trusted that thief, as like he must have thought that thief would be very kindful, very needy. But that thief had taken advantage of his kindness, and on that night he cleared his hands. Look what happened then. Till that part we have learned. Page number 10 completed. No. When he counted those notes at that time, he realized that he came to know that the total amount was 600 rupees and all those notes were in 50 rupees. He thought with that money he would live like an all rich Arab for a week or two. Till that passage we have completed. Now look. When I reached the station, I did not stop at a ticket office. Why? I had never bought a ticket in my life. When thief reached the station, there was no need to stop at the ticket office to buy the ticket because as he was thief, he had never bought ticket in his life. He was always traveling in free of cost by cheating, by frauding, as he was thief. His nature was that. So he did not stop at the ticket office as he had never bought a ticket in his life, but dashed straight to the platform. But Anil directly dashed to the platform, reached the platform. The Lucknow Express was just moving out. The thief had to catch the Lucknow Express. When he reached the station, when he reached the platform, at that time the Lucknow Express was just about to leave the station. The train had still to pick up speed and I should have been able to jump into one of the carriages. But I hesitated for some reason. The train was about to take speed and at that time thief should have jumped into one of the compartments. He could easily enter one of the compartments, carriages, but he hesitated for some reason. He couldn't enter, he couldn't jump for some reason, and you must have realized what would be the reason. The reason was just Anil's love and Anil's trusting. Look, due to care and due to kindful behavior, how someone's feeling can get changed. He was thief. He had robbed the money. He wanted to run away from that place. His mind was not ready. His mind was not ready to leave that place by breaking the trust of Anil, who had helped the thief very much, who had behaved with that thief as like a brother, as like a family member. Although he was physically going to the Lucknow, his mind was not ready to do that wrong thing. Just 1 month changed the thoughts of thief. So, good company is always honored. Good company is always admired. So, we must be in the good company. Thief was just in the company of Anil for 1 month. In 1 month, his thoughts were getting changed. The train had still to pick up the speed. I should have been able to jump into one of the carriages, but I hesitated for some reason. I can't explain, and I lost the chance to get away. And in that thought, he lost the chance of getting away in the train, in that compartments. When the train had gone, I found myself standing alone on the deserted platform. Deserted means empty. Empty. When the train had left the platform, thief was alone on the empty platform. Thief was alone on the empty platform. I had no idea where to spend spend the night. He was alone. He was totally stranger in that city. As he was thief, no one was familiar with him, and that friendship or that those familiar people would have been trouble for him. So, look what happened. He was totally alone there. He did not any idea where to spend the night. I had no friends, believing that friends were more trouble than help. He did not have so many friends because he knew that the friends would be more troublesome for him as he was thief. If he had so many friends and those friends must have known about all his activities, there might be chance to inform police station by one of his friends. So he did not have many friends because he was believing that friends would be more troublesome than help. And I did not want to make anyone curious by staying at one of the small hotels near the station. And he did not decide to stay one of the small hotels nearby the station because if he lived there, then the owner of hotel or that management would inquire about him. That would be also troublesome. The people would get doubt on him. The people would be suspicious. So he did not want to make people curious, suspicious about him by living in one of the hotels. The only person I knew really well was the man I had robbed. The only person the thief had known that was Anil, whom he had robbed. In that strange city, in that unknown city, unfamiliar city, the only man the thief was familiar was Anil, whom he had robbed. Now, thief had to go to Anil, but there was problem. What problem? He had robbed his money. And if Anil knew it, what would happen? Look. Leaving the station, I walked slowly through the bazaar. So in that thought, he left the station and he started walking slowly through the bazaar. In that thought, he left the station and started walking through bazaar. In my short career as thief, I had made a study of men's faces when they had lost their goods. Look, in his short career as a thief, the thief had studied facial expressions of men when they had lost their goods. When someone would be robbed at that time, what would that person feel? Because as a thief, he must have robbed many people. And so, as a thief, in his short career as a thief, he had learned the facial expressions of a lot of people whom he had robbed, who had lost their goods. What would they feel? The greedy man showed fear. If the greedy man would get robbed, then they would show fear. The rich man showed anger. If the rich people are robbed, then they get very angry. The poor man showed acceptance. But the poor man, if the poor man is robbed, then that person accepts. He thinks that whatever was in my life, that has been robbed. Because as a poor man, what would have been there very less amount or less thing, and if those things or that money had been robbed, then that poor person would not repent like rich people. Rich people have a lot of money. If they are robbed, if some articles or some amount had been robbed, then they feel so sad. They don't accept as like poor people, as they never live satisfactory life, contented life. They always think of money, money and money. If such people are robbed, then they feel very sad. But poor people accept whatever was in my life that had been robbed, they can say. In this way, that thief had learned such facial expressions. But I knew that Anil's face. He had also observed Anil's face. When he discovered the theft would show only touch of sadness, but he thought about Anil. He knew the nature of Anil. He had known the behavior of Anil. And so he thought if Anil discovered, Anil knew that he had been robbed, and that also by that most trusting person, then he would not repent, he would not get angry, but he would be so sad. He would feel so sad for not losing money, but for losing that trust. But that losing, that bonding, that trusting, Anil had known it. That thief had realized. But I knew that Anil's face, when he discovered the theft, would show only touch of sadness. Not for the loss of money, but for the loss of trust. Anil would be so sad for not losing his money, but he would feel so sad for losing the close friendship, for losing the trusting. And so trusting is the most important asset in our life. At any cost, we must not break anyone's trust. You are friends of each other. You have strong friendship. In that friendship, at any cost, you must not hurt any feeling by your wrong behavior, by your very foolish behavior. You must not trust that second person. You must not take undue advantage of other kindness for even selfish motives. So, Anil was so sad for losing that trust. Oh, look what happened. I found myself in the Maidan. Maidan is a Marathi word, code mixing word, ground. And sat down on a bench. After walking for some time, the right thief found himself in the Maidan and sat down on a bench. After reaching on the ground, he sat on a bench. The night was chilly. It was November, and a light drizzle. Drizzle means raining, light raining. Okay, added to my discomfort. It was month of November. It was winter season. The night was so chilly, and it was drizzling, which was adding to his discomfort. The thief was really feeling so sad. The thief was really so discomfort due to that thought, due to robbing Anil's money. And in addition, the atmosphere was so troublesome, so anxious, which added the more in Anil's discomfort. Soon it was raining quite heavily. After some time, it started rain heavily. My shirt and pajama stuck to my skin, and cold wind blew the rain across my face. Due to that heavy rain, the thief was totally drenched. The thief got totally drenched. His shirt, pajama stuck to his skin due to wet, due to that rainwater, and cold wind blew the rain across my face. And it was also raining, as it was November, it was month of winter. The cold wind was also blowing on the face of Anil. Just it is the description of that atmosphere. Thief was, sorry, not Anil, but thief's face. Thief was really so feeling sad. In addition, that atmosphere, the worst atmosphere according to thief, was adding again discomfort. Look what happened then. I went back to the bazaar and sat down in the shelter of the clock tower. Due to that heavy rain, the thief went back to the bazaar and took shelter under the clock tower to escape from the rain. I went back to the bazaar and sat down in the shelter of the clock tower. The clock showed midnight, and it was midnight. The clock showed time, it was midnight. I felt for the notes. So the thief checked those notes which had been tied by strings of his pajamas. So that thief checked those notes. They were damp from the rain. They had been totally wet from the rain. They were damp. They were wet from the rain. Anil's money. Thief thought it was Anil's money. In the morning, he would probably have given me 2 or 3 rupees to go to cinema, but now I had it all. Thief thought, if he had not robbed his money, then Anil would have given just 1 or 2 rupees, 2 or 3 rupees to go for cinema. But at that time, thief had all that money, all those 600 rupees. In the morning, Anil would have just given him 2 or 3 rupees to go to cinema, but now thief had all that money. I couldn't cook his meals, run to the bazaar, or learn to write whole sentences anymore. He thought, due to those 600 rupees, there was no need for him to cook. There was no need to run for bazaar. Also, he could not learn to write whole sentences anymore. Look, that last part, to learn the whole sentences, touched his heart. Okay, he was not able to cook, it's okay. He did not have to go to bazaar, it's okay. But he lost the chance of education. He lost the chance of learning. When he mentioned the last part, at that time, really that last part touched. I had forgotten about them in the excitement of the theft. Really. The thief had forgotten about writing sentences, about learning in that excitement. What excitement? In the excitement of robbery. And really, he felt that thing so strongly. He really repented. What happened? He admitted that he had totally forgotten about them in the excitement of the theft. Whole sentence says, I knew could one day bring me more than a few hundred rupees. He says that if he had learned few sentences. If he had been educated, then that education could have brought so much more money than that 600 rupees. If he had been educated by Anil, then he would have earned a lot of money. He sensed the importance of education at that time. But initially he was thinking to take advantage of that education for his robbery, for his that profession. But now look, he was thinking that if he had been educated, if he had learned to learn some sentences, to write some sentences, then that would have brought good money for him. It was a simple matter to steal, to rob. To steal means to rob. And sometimes just as simple to be caught. For him, it was very simple matter to rob. And sometimes just as simple to be caught. But to be really big man, a clever and a respected man was something else. For him, to steal was very simple matter. And to catch by police, to be caught, was also a very simple matter. But for him to become a respected person, to become educated person by taking education was very special for him, and he had lost that chance by robbing Anil's money, and he sensed that mistake. For him, it was common to rob. It was very simple and common to get caught, to be caught, but to become respected, to become educated person was very something else, was very special. I should go back to Anil. I told myself if only to learn to read and write. So at that time he decided to go to back. If he wanted to learn some sentences, if he wanted to learn to write and read, then really he decided he should accept his mistake and he should return to Anil. Now look, finally he accepted, his mind accepted his mistake and he decided to return to Anil. I hurried back to the room feeling very nervous, for it is much easier to steal something than to return undetected, unobserved, unnoticed, undetected, unobserved or unnoticed. And then the thief hurried back to room. He was feeling very nervous. He started walking to the Anil's house. He was feeling nervous because according to him, it is much easier to steal something. It is much easier to steal something than to return, and that also unknowingly, undetected. I opened the door quietly, then stood in the doorway in clouded moonlight. Then, after reaching Anil's house, he opened the door quietly, as he had keys of Anil's house, because Anil had hardly trusted him. I opened the door quietly, then stood in the doorway in clouded moonlight. Anil was still asleep. Anil was still sleeping. He was very soundly sleeping as he had trusted him. So there was no any stress, there was no any anxiety for Anil. I crept to the head of bed and my hand came up with the notes. Then slowly he went to Anil's bed and he took that bundle of notes. I felt his breath on my hand. While keeping those notes, that bundle, he felt breathing of Anil. and remained still for a minute. At that time, thief became silent, remained silent for a minute. Then my hand found the edge of the mattress and slipped under it with the notes. Then thief put that bundle under the mattress. He found the edge of the mattress because there might not light. So what happened? He found the edge of the mattress in the dark room and slipped under mattress that bundle of notes. Means he succeeded to keep that bundle under the mattress without knowing to that Anil. I awoke late next morning to find that Anil had already made the tea. When the thief had been awoken in the next morning, at that time he noticed that Anil had already made tea for him. Look what kind of person he was. When the thief woke up in the next morning, at that time he noticed that Anil had already made it. He stretched out his hand towards me. Then he stretched out his hands towards the thief. Anil pulled his hands, stretched out his hands towards him. There was a 50 rupee note between his fingers. There was 50 rupees notes in his fingers. He was giving 50 rupees to the thief as he had earned 600 rupees. And so he was giving 50 rupees to the thief. And thief had thought that Anil would have given just 2 or 3 rupees for cinema. Thief had been living since 1 month in that house, but Anil hadn't paid him. But now Anil was giving 50 rupees. My heart sank, felt depressed. I thought I had been discovered. As soon as thief noticed that 50 rupee note, he was shocked. He had been depressed. He thought his robbery had been discovered. His theft had been discovered. So he had been shocked. I made some money yesterday, he explained. Now, at that time, look, thief thought his robbery had been discovered. But look, Anil explained that he had earned some money yesterday and he promised him that from that day, thief would be paid regularly. Really, Anil was so generous and kindly person. Whether he had known that robbery, look what happened. My spirits arose, means became very hopeful. Thief was so excited by knowing that his robbery had not been discovered. So he became hopeful. But when I took the note, I saw it was still wet from night sweat. When look, thief took that note, at that time he said that that note was still wet due to that rain. Okay? It means Anil had discovered that theft. Anil had known that thief, that person had robbed his money and again kept at that place. Yet Anil did not express a single word for that. He had forgiven him very broad-mindedly, because Anil must have realized that he wanted to improve his lifestyle. He wanted to become a good human being in his company. So he had forgotten in his mind. I saw it was still wet from the night's rain. Today we shall start writing sentences, he said. Anil again promised. Anil again promised that from that day they would start to write sentences. For that reason, thief had given that money. Anil promised him that from that day they would start to write sentences. Anil knew everything. Anil knew everything, but neither his lips nor his eyes showed anything. But he did not utter a single word for that thief about that robbery. I smiled at Anil in my most appealing way, and the smile came by itself without any effort. Look, thief realized that Anil had known about that robbery. Anil had forgiven him. So the thief smiled at Anil in his regular, appealing way, and also Anil smiled. Anil also smiled genuinely. Means Anil had not taken anything of that robbery in his mind. He had forgiven heartily, as he realized that thief wanted to become a good human being. He wanted to be educated and respected person. And so if Anil had mentioned about that robbery, then really the thief would have felt so distressed. If Anil had handed over that thief to the police, then in the mind of thief there would be anger for Anil. In the mind of thief there would not be respect for Anil. So the thief would have again returned to his profession. So he thought of everything. Anil thought of everything regarding that thief's life for the lad. So without expressing a single word, he forgave and started the routine life. Look, this topic gives us this message that sometimes we must forgive others for their mistake. We can improve, we can make some such ill-natured person a good human being by our company, by our nature. Whenever and whatever possible, we must help to needy people. And if we got chance, then we must try to change such person from bad to good. Okay, this message we have got from this lesson. Okay, this topic has been completed. Now I discuss some activities in the English workshop. Just 1 minute. Okay, let's start activities in the English workshop. Page number 12, first activity. Complete the wave diagram. You will be asked to complete wave diagram in your exam also. Okay, first, A2 question in the passages. Anil's virtues. Virtues means what? Virtues, good qualities. Virtues means good qualities. Pleasant, kindful, trusting, simple, easygoing, lean, easygoing, pleasant, kindful, trusting. These are the good qualities of Anil. His vices, bad qualities. Compulsive liar, first. Cheater, opportunist, fraud, untruthful, insincere. These are the bad qualities of hurry. Okay. Now, second, insert appropriate word phrases given below in the sentences that follow. In brackets, some words, some phrases have been given. We have to put at proper place. Pay attention there. Pay attention. Flattery, appealing by fruits and stars, dash to undetected spirits rose. I dot the school gate. I dashed to the school gate when I heard the school bell rang. Okay. First is dash. I dashed to the school gate when I heard the school bell rang. After the death of my pet dog, my spirits rose when Dad got me a new pup. Spirits rose. After the death of my pet dog, my spirits rose when Dad got me a new pup. Do not stoop to flattery just to gain something from someone. Flattery. Do not stoop to flattery just to gain something from someone. The artist completes his paintings by fits and starts. Please, if not mention the answers mentioned. The artist completes its paintings by fits and starts. The crime went undetected for 11 years. Undetected should be there. The crime went undetected for 11 years. When the baby saw its mother, it gave an appealing smile. When the baby saw its mother, it gave an appealing smile. Now, third activity. Find from the text collocations for the following. Look, collocations means having two words, adjective and noun. When two words gets combined to form a new word, that is collocation. We have to complete the collocations here. First, straight off, educated man, adjective and noun. Ticket office, walk slowly, light drizzle, whole sentences, spirits, what you answer? Rose spirits. Take rose spirits. Correct. Rose spirits. Complete the compound words from the story. Oil rich, easy going, moonlight, 50 rupee, clock tower. Oil rich, easy going, moonlight, 50 rupee and clock tower. Now next, pick out from the story 3 or 4 examples of code mixing. Code mixing means Indian words used in English. Marathi words used in English, Indian words. For example, Maidan, Pajama, Bazaar. Okay, write these words. These are the code mixing words which are Indian words used in English. Maidan, Pajama, Bazaar. Fourth activity, read the story carefully and complete the table. Read the story carefully and complete the table. We have to complete the table. Attempt in short. Total number of characters, names, age, physical appearance, earn, money by and qualities. First, Hari Singh, thief, age 15, physical appearance, thin, only 2 characters are there. Earn money by robbing, and frauding. Qualities, thief, we have learn qualities: compulsive liar, cheater, fraud, untruthful. These are the qualities. Now Anil, age 25, polite, kindful, physical appearance, tall and lean. Physical appearance, tall. Earn money by writing for magazines. Qualities: easygoing, simple, polite. These are the qualities. In this way you can fill the table. Now fifth question, you complete yourself. You have to complete the given sentences by referring the lesson. You complete this activity yourself. Now I am taking one grammar activity. I have taught you how to frame WH type questions to get the underlined part as an answer. We have learned how to frame WH type questions to get underlined part as answer. Flip WH question to get the answers underlined below. Change the first person pronoun to second person. Look, in all sentences subject is pronoun I, that's first person. While writing questions we must convert that first person into second person. First, I hurried back to the room. To the room should be answer, where did you hurry back? Question mark. There is no any auxiliary verb. We have to use did as the auxiliary because it is in simple past. Where did I into you? First person into second person. Where did you hurry back? Question mark. I had made a study of men's faces. What had you made? What had you made? Question mark. What had you made? We get a study of men's faces as answer. I drew them out without a sound. How did you draw them out? How did you draw them out? Question mark. How did you draw them out? Question mark. The poor man showed acceptance. What showed the poor man? The subject. Just 1 minute. Sorry, not what. Who showed acceptance? If the person would be there, then who should be there? If non-living thing is there, then take what. And if the subject would be underlined, then just replace that subject with that WH1. Okay? The poor man showed acceptance. Who showed acceptance? Who showed acceptance? I made tea in the morning. When did you make tea? When did you make? Why did? Because it's in simple past, and made into make because we have taken did. When did you make tea? We get in the morning as answer, and it's very important to put question mark at the end of the question. Okay? In this way, all activities, important activities have been completed. You try to write question answers yourself at your home, and which activities I have told to write yourself, complete those activities. Okay? In the next lecture we shall start next lesson. Now time is over, so I stop here. In next lecture we start next lesson. Okay.